also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1.
Caitlin Clark just did it again. As if breaking records on the court wasn't enough, she just secured another massive win without even lacing up her sneakers. Complex just named her the most influential female athlete, cementing her status as the biggest name in sports right now. And guess what? She beat out Angel Reese, who, unsurprisingly, isn't handling it well.
So it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of just moving on has been something I've tried to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right. While Clark is out here winning awards, growing the game, and rewriting history, Reese is scrambling for excuses, acting like this honor isn't a big deal. But let's be real. If she had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, Reese is doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's achievements while spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records. Caitlin Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
And let's get one thing straight. This isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans truly care about. One player has people tuning in for her jaw-dropping skill, while the other, well, she's famous for making headlines for everything except basketball. One side sees this as a rivalry, but let's be honest, it's not much of a competition when one player is actually winning.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm cool. The pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm all right, cool, I can just hoop. So I'm all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're oh.
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure things out.
Now, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese reacting like she just got robbed? We're about to go deep into the numbers, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath. Let's get into it.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she demolished them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history, it's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this, and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where things get even more ridiculous. Clark didn't just put up crazy numbers. She actually changed the trajectory of an entire franchise. Before she arrived, the Indiana Fever were stuck in the basement of the league, struggling for relevance. Then Caitlin Clark showed up, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just individual greatness, that's team-changing dominance.
The woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
And let's talk about the off-court impact, because this is where Clark completely separates herself from the so-called rivals. The WNBA's merchandise sales exploded by 500% in her rookie season. That's not a typo. The league's merch demand quintupled the moment she stepped on the court. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia, it was all flying off the shelves at a rate the WNBA had never seen before. And you already know who wasn't selling out? Yeah, Angel Reese's jerseys were just sitting there, collecting dust, while Clark's were gone within minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
But this isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is changing the entire league's economy. Viewership is at an all-time high. Arenas that used to struggle to sell tickets are now packed to capacity, but only when Clark is in town. Teams that used to beg people to show up are now scrambling to expand their seating just to handle the demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number one. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number one. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are blown away by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, one of the top names in sports business, called Clark a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan in terms of how she's elevating the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's right.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in D.C., and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play Angel Reese.
Let's talk hard numbers. Clark's rookie season alone generated a staggering $36 million for Indianapolis. Just one player did that, and it's only the beginning. Experts predict that Clark's rise will increase women's basketball's overall value by $1.6 billion in the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number one pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
So what does all of this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar. She's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping an entire league's future. She's drawing in new fans, creating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch television.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is sitting there still trying to figure out why she wasn't the one named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd understand.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. Or on TikTok, he's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses, bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe.
Caitlin Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a foregone conclusion, but the real story is so much bigger. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped up as Clark's biggest competition, with the media pushing a so-called rivalry between the two. It was framed as the ultimate battle, a season-long war that had fans locked in. But let's be real, was it ever really close?
Saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe. or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
From the very start, the media forced the narrative of two rookies going head-to-head for WNBA supremacy. But as the season progressed, the gap became painfully obvious. This wasn't a duel of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than the box scores.
Oh, Reese! 3-on-3! Part 13! Let's get it! Classic long two. Bang! PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away. Bang! What? Bang! I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair. Bang! They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her. Long two, butter pecan. Bang!
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA. And that's when everything was exposed. Clark didn't just win. She ran away with it. The so-called competition wasn't even close. And Reese? Well, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she went straight to social media and claimed Clark didn't deserve the honor. Imagine losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that.
But here's the thing. Clark's success isn't about awards or individual rivalries. She's not just trying to win trophies. She's reshaping the entire WNBA. Her impact is bigger than basketball. She's growing the game, breaking attendance records, and bringing in millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is still trying to convince people that she's on Clark's level.
I thought scoring, yes, she's the all-time greatest scorer in the history of college basketball, men's or women's, but passing like this? I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque bounce passing. I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque two-handed, full court, touchdown pass kind of passing. The likes of which I don't see in the WNBA.
That's not to say Reese hasn't contributed to the WNBA's rise. She's certainly keeping things entertaining. But let's be honest, Clark's drawing fans for her game, while Reese is getting attention for everything but her skills. It's like watching two completely different paths to relevance. One built on greatness, the other on controversy.
That skinny white girl was the best thing that ever happened to the WNBA. She's already the most exciting and entertaining player in the league, the entire league, the one you can't take your eyes off of.
But here's the bigger picture. Clark's Most Influential Athlete Award isn't just another trophy. It's a turning point for the WNBA. She's not just smashing records, she's expanding the entire league's reach. People aren't just watching her, they're watching women's basketball in numbers we've never seen before. Of course, not everyone's thrilled about Clark's rise. Some WNBA veterans and legends have pushed back, arguing that too much attention on one player could overshadow others. It's a fair concern, but let's be real. Where was all this energy before Clark arrived? If the league wanted widespread attention, they had years to build it. Instead, it took Caitlin Clark walking in and flipping the script to get the WNBA to this level.
Asia Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
Now, some critics argue that Clark's hype could create unrealistic expectations or overshadow team play. But guess what? That's exactly what the WNBA needs. Basketball is a star-driven sport, and the league finally has a superstar that commands attention. More eyes on Clark means more eyes on the WNBA, and that benefits everyone. So while Angel Reese is stewing over her loss, Clark is out here winning bigger than ever. Whether her critics like it or not, she's the one pushing the league forward, and no amount of complaining is going to change that.
But now you're going to cut down 22-year-old Caitlin Clark, who has single-handedly changed the game, brought in millions of other young fans, old fans. How about the ratings in college basketball for her? Record ratings. And now in her very short WNBA career, shattering records. Isn't that a win for everybody?
Caitlin Clark's impact goes beyond just breaking records. She's changing the entire conversation around how the WNBA grows its brand. For years, critics have said the league needed to do a better job marketing its players, not just focusing on 1 or 2 stars. And while that's a fair point, there's no denying reality. Clark's presence has been the biggest catalyst for change the league has ever seen. The truth is, people love watching greatness. And Clark isn't just winning awards, she's redefining what's possible in the sport. Her game, her dominance, her ability to command attention. It's proving that women's basketball is must-watch entertainment.
Like, what are we doing and why? Please stop. Let's celebrate Caitlin Clark, celebrate her greatness, celebrate her courage to keep pushing through.
Think about this for a second. Clark didn't just break records, she shattered them into pieces. She's forcing everyone to reimagine what a single WNBA season can look like. The expectations for rookies, teams, and even the league itself have completely changed because of her. She's elevating the entire sport, inspiring young players, and making sure that the WNBA isn't just growing, it's thriving. And she's only getting started. So what's next for Clark and Reese? Their so-called rivalry has done wonders for bringing attention to the league. But let's be real, it's only a rivalry on one side. Clark is focused on winning, while Reese is focused on staying relevant. But love it or hate it, their dynamic is pushing the WNBA into the spotlight like never before.
Caitlin Clark, you go, girl. Don't listen to these people. Keep going strong. Most of us are normal and have your back.
Next time these two face off, just remember, this isn't just about competition. It's about the evolution of the WNBA. Every game they play is another chance to grow the sport, break records, and capture new fans. The Caitlin Clark era isn't coming. It's already here. The only question left is, who's ready to step up and keep up? Certainly not Angel Reese. What do you think? Is Clark's dominance good for the WNBA, or is she leaving the rest of the league in the dust? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.